What's going on, you guys? This is Trent here at Rexburg Motorsports, here to do another machine overview with you. Now today I wanted to talk to you about one of Can-Am's coolest side-by-sides in their side-by-side lineup. This right here is the Maverick Sport X XC model. Can-Am does a lot of awesome things to the standard sport model to make this thing just awesome, and one that you'll want on your short list if you're shopping for a side-by-side. So let's dig into this thing. Alright, you guys, if you've ever been looking for a side-by-side, you know Can-Am is a huge player in the side-by-side game, and they do not disappoint with their Maverick Sport lineup. Now, in their Maverick Sport lineup, you've got their standard Maverick Sport, you've got their Maverick Sport DPS model that comes with the 1000R motor, and then you jump into the X models. Now, the X models, you can pick between an XMR that's focused towards swamp going and really getting into the deep mud. You've got the XRC that is a rock crawler, and then you've got this, the XXC. Now this XXC really brings the goods if you're looking for a machine that is tuned specifically for super aggressive trail riding. This thing is ready to blast through the trails, and where they start out with this Maverick Sport model being the 60-inch wide version, they throw in a little bit more goodies to make sure that this thing is just what you want. So let's talk about this chassis a little bit. When you compare this to the standard Sport DPS model, you're getting, this one is actually a touch wider. You're getting a 64-inch width as opposed to the 60-inch wide Sport model. So they do widen this thing with wider A-arms and bigger suspension components throughout, to make sure that this is going to give you just that little bit more stability that comes with that extra width. You're getting an overall length of 122 inches, which is up about 3 inches from the standard model, and that's primarily due to the Sport bumper that it comes with. You also get an overall height bump of about 3 inches. This is sitting at 74.25 inches tall, which is up from the 71.1 of the standard model. Now, this is where it gets fun though. The big thing, you get 14 inches of ground clearance as opposed to the standard model's 12 inches. Now, where you're getting that is with the added width of the suspension, you're getting more suspension travel, and you're also getting 29-inch tires under this. In fact, this tire package is a huge upgrade from the standard model. You're getting a 29.9 on a 14-inch rim on the front and a 29.11 on a 14-inch wheel on the back. That's up from the 27.9 and 27.11s on 12-inch rims on the standard model. Now, a big thing with this 14-inch wheel is it's also a bead lock wheel. So you'll be able to really throw this thing into corners knowing that you're not going to be tearing a tire off of a bead anytime soon. Now, we also have to talk about the shock package when it comes to the XXC model. All of the X models, so the XMR, XRC, and then this XXC, come with Fox's PODIUM 2.5 shocks with the QS3. Now, this is an upgrade from the Fox PODIUM 2.0s that come on the DPS and standard models. So with this shock package, on the XXC, you're getting 14.75 inches of suspension travel front and rear. That is up from 11.5 in the front and 12 in the back on the standard DPS model. Now, this shock package where you are getting added travel, this shock package with the 2.5s as opposed to the 2.0s, you're getting a lot more control over that travel. So this has got a better dampening curve. This has got more stout valving ability so that you can really handle all of those bumps that you're going to throw at this thing at the high speeds that you're going to be able to go through with this 64-inch wide beast of a sport machine. Now, the QS3 suspension is awesome because you got 3 clicks of adjustability in your compression, so that you're not going to be worrying too awfully much about trying to find the perfect settings with 24 clicks of compression adjustability. You just got 1, 2, 3, and it really, Can-Am did a great job with Fox in making sure that this shock package is set up really, really well, so you'll be able to find a happy spot in those 3 settings. Now, when we talk about that suspension travel, the 14.75 inches of suspension travel, the big thing that you've got to look at is these curved A-arms. These curved A-arms front and rear really help give you that added suspension travel over the standard model. They help give you that wider stance. It's 4 inches wider than the other model. And then that's also helping you with that ground clearance. Again, with the standard model having 12 inches of ground clearance, you're getting an extra inch of ground clearance over this because of the tires going from the 27s to the 29s, but then you're getting another inch because of this suspension setup with these curved A-arms. They did a great job, and as you look over these components, you can tell Can-Am really made this thing so it will be able to take a beating and just keep on going. You do also have a 2-inch receiver on this thing, so you'll be able to throw a stinger in this thing, and you can tow up to 1,500 pounds with this machine. So this is a great all-around machine that's really ready to go out and play hard, but then also be able to tow around stuff if you're needing, say, to tow a trailer for a day or move around some stuff on the property. This thing is ready to rock and roll. So when we talk about the motors on these Maverick Sport models, they come in 2 different flavors. The base model comes with the 1000 motor, that it's a 976 cc V-twin that comes with 75 horsepower, and it's awesome. Tons of torque, great low-end power comes from those V-twin configurations, and they sound great. But when you jump up into the DPS model and then these X models, the XXC, XRC, and XMR, you get the 1000R tune. So 1000R tune brings 100 horsepower to the table. This is a great motor. Tons of low-end bark, tons of mid-range power, and man, when you get this V-twin howling, it sounds amazing. It's got power all throughout the curve, and this power plant is mated perfectly to the CVT that they've got going on with this thing. This belt drive CVT is awesome. You get active hill descent control, so it's got that active engine braking, so when you let off the gas, you're not going to have to worry about free coasting down the mountain. But that's a huge help to this braking system. This braking system is really good. You've got a 4-wheel disc brake setup with 220 millimeter rotors with 2 piston calipers at each end. So the braking system is going to instill a lot of confidence when you are in those high-risk driving situations where you need that brake feel. But that engine braking setup from the CVT is really going to help you slow this thing down. Now with these CVT gears, just like with the other CVT offerings in the Can-Am line, you've got a park gear, you've got high, low, neutral, and reverse. These gears are set up perfectly, and when you're trying to decide whether you need high or low, that low range is going to give you all the torque on tap that you're needing for the high load driving, but that high range also gives you tons of that low end power that you need while still giving you the legs to really run as fast as this thing's meant to go. Now Can-Am, with this 4-wheel drive system to go along with that CVT and this awesome 1000R motor, they give you some great options. Now when you are looking at the standard and DPS models, what you've got is you've got 2-wheel drive and then 4-wheel drive with an auto-locking Visco lock front diff. When you jump into the X models though, you get tons more options. This has got their Smart-Lok technology. This is a super smart system to make sure you're getting maximum traction, and let's talk about that just a little bit. So with this drive system, you've got standard 2-wheel drive. Your rear diff is always locked, okay? So it's a locked rear diff. Those rear tires are always going to be clawing together to make sure to give you all the traction that you need. Now, on this, you've also got 4-wheel drive, in which when you've selected 4-wheel drive, that's when you can pick between Trail and Trail Activ on the drive systems. These 2 modes, the Trail mode gives you that auto-locking system, but then the Trail Activ activates the Smart-Lok setup. This Smart-Lok setup takes input from engine RPMs, brake pressure, gas pressure, steering angle, And they take all of these things as well as reading what the tires are doing on the front to make sure that this power is going to the correct front wheel to make sure that you're grabbing and going where you need to go. Now on top of that, again with those three options, on top of that you've also got a 4-wheel diff lock mode. So you can fully lock that front diff to go along with that rear diff for when the going gets very, very tough. Now this machine, it grabs in all of those modes and gives you all the traction that you could possibly need, but giving you the ability to pick what you're needing so that you can best tailor your driving experience to what the terrain is giving you. This is a super smart technology, and again, something that Can-Am has worked a lot on to make sure it's perfect for your riding experience. Now, when it comes to interior comfort on this, Can-Am does a great job with these sport models. You've got a nice tilt wheel that, again, it's got that gas shock on it so you can lock it anywhere that you want it to make sure that it's nice and comfortable for you. But then you've also got this huge 7.6 inch wide display. Now when you turn on this display, you've got a ton of things to keep your eyes on, which is nice and easy to see with the way that they set this up. You've got your fuel gauge right here. You've got right here, you've got your odometer, and you can go into trip A, trip B, and then overall hours on the machine, which is awesome to be able to see. Right up here on the top, you can see which sport or eco mode, in the drive modes that you've got selected. And that sport mode is going to be the one that you're going to primarily use unless you're, a good ways from camp and you're needing to, make sure that you're not going to run out of gas. And then on the menu down here, you can look through a few different things, engine temps. You can select a handful of things to see on the bottom of this awesome big gauge. Now you've got your miles per hour that stays always here, your gear selector right here on the top. And then right here, you've got your 4-wheel drive selection screen right here to show you what gear you've selected. Now with this, you've got some very cool things. As we talked about out there, the difference between the 2-wheel, 4-wheel, the front diff lock, and then you've got that Trail and Trail Activ options with that. Can-Am really does a great job of making sure that that 4-wheel drive system is super, super smart. And right there, it makes it nice and easy to see what you're in. Then you've got your heat gauge just right here, and then you've got a clock. This is going to be an awesome machine and very easy to live with. Right over here on this side, you've got your light controls, and everything just falls right into place. Not to mention the fact that Can-Am still has some of the best seats in side-by-sides when it comes to these sport models. All of the Can-Am seat foams, man, they feel like memory foam in comparison with some of the competition. And these seats have tons of side bolstering and leg bolstering to make sure that you're nice and planted when you're getting aggressive in this machine. You do also have a good bit of storage with this machine. You've got a nice front storage here, and it's quite deep and, has a couple different little positions for stuff in it. To go along with that awesome interior with the great seats, awesome gauge cluster, and all those great and easy to use controls, you do also get some very cool things on the outside of this to make sure that your ride is comfortable. You do get these half doors that are awesome. They seal off nice, they feel good, they close good. I'll tell you, there's a lot of kind of flimsy doors that tend to rattle and stuff like that. Can-Am's doors do not do that. These are an awesome door and they feel great. You also get these bigger extended fender flares on the X models, and they really help keep the dirt and the dust away from you when you're really hard on that gas and throwing up the roost from your front and rear tires. As you can see, Can-Am has done a great job with this XXC model. Everything from the Fox PODIUM 2.0s, the 14.75 inches of suspension travel, the 100 horsepower, and this Smart-Lok active technology. This is a great, great machine. Can-Am has brought the goods, and we would love to show you one of these models. Come on in here to Rexburg Motorsports. We'd love to answer any of your other questions that you've got on these machines. And also, let us know what you think about this machine in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching these videos here on YouTube, and if you would, consider hitting that subscribe button. We would love to keep you up to date on all the cool things that we've got going on here at Rexburg Motorsports, and we, again, appreciate you watching these videos.